I'm gonna just like lawyer, just wait and see what your lawyer. And if the lawyer's like, yeah, look, you have to admit to it, they were right there. Everyone was extremely surprised when I said that I peed outside. I think it must be unless I'm really wrong. I pee outside. Like if I'm on a trip and there's no petrol station or wherever to pull over and have a pee, I'll just pull over at the side of the road, go into the forest and have a slash.
Oh no. Why are you looking down there? Why are you looking down there? Keep your eyes above. No, what are you doing?
Is that so unusual? People were like, Simon, I can't believe you pee in public. And I'm like, there's no one around. I'm not like whipping it out in front of a crowd and having a piss. It's in the middle of nowhere. What's wrong with that? It's not indecent, but I might end up on a registry of some kind, apparently. Jesus Christ. Cool, man. Get on that pot train, brah. Ah. What's this new format? That's right, it's World News Wednesdays, where we absolutely pretend to be a news show.
You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself?
And today, Florida Man special, so we're just covering Florida Men in the news special. Also, I asked Danny to write me a script for this new format. I was like, Danny, we don't need an introduction. And so he wrote me one page anyway, and I put a big red cross through it and threw it away.
All right, well, thank you for the help. Of course. Let me know what you need.
Florida man, too busy yelling in traffic to notice a huge tornado. I feel that's two things that come together, like Florida men in the rest of the world, which do exist. It's a condition, not a location. They don't have to deal with tornadoes. That's like a uniquely Florida thing.
Are you stupid or something?
I mean, other than all like Kansas and shit. Where was the Wizard of Oz set?
Great job.
Although, I've often mentioned that I never passed my driving test, I should point out that it was only the practical side of the test which I kept failing on trivial grounds that I kept endangering the lives of myself and my terrifying driving instructor. I think I told this story before, but I had a friend who failed their driving test, and I'm not even making this up, this sounds like a joke, but the driving instructor, it's like, go over the roundabout, which means take the second exit, go straight on over the roundabout. Roundabouts are weird traffic things, American friends.
There it is.
I know. I can't seem to get over to the left, honey. I'll try next time. Sorry. We'll get out of this jam in a minute.
And they literally drove their car up onto the reservation in the middle of the roundabout, over the roundabout and down the other side. And that was when I discovered that you can get a minor, a major on your driving test, which are the ones that people commonly go on. If you get a major, you fail. If you get like 6 minors, you fail. You can also get something called a dangerous, which is where they stop your test and they're like, we're going back to the testing center. You're not ready. You're not ready at all. I imagine Danny got a dangerous.
You're goddamn right.
But I passed the theory test the first time with flying colors, which was hardly surprising as I had...
You can't even speak.
Yes, I can!
Which was surprising as I hadn't bothered to pick up a copy of the highway code until directly before the test. It's also not challenging, and I think you need to get like 60% to pass or something. I'd blagged a lift from my mate to the theory test centre in Sheffield, but unfortunately he ended up dropping off about 3 hours too early. I spotted a pub right next door, so I just set up camp there for a while and studied the highway code over 6 or 7 pints of lager. Holy shit, Danny. And even though this isn't a news show, this is already not a news show. We're just talking about Danny's life. Every time I try to do something different, Danny, we always just end up talking about your life and my stupid segues. Why do I even bother, Danny?
Are you serious? This is torture.
I wear a fucking tie.
You're torturing me and everyone else watching. Wait.
What is up your ass? Seriously, what the is wrong with you?
And even though by the time I turned up to the test next door, I could barely walk in a straight line and stank of scampi fries, I got full marks. What are scampi fries? Is that like scampi made in... Scampi is like... Is that squid? How do I not know what scampi is? British people are going to be so angry with me. The thing is, I reckon I could have got 4 marks even if I'd never once looked at the highway code in my life, because every single question in the test was ludicrously simple and based entirely on common sense rather than knowledge. A typical question ran along the lines of, which is the most important road rule? A, always keep your full attention on the road and try to anticipate the actions of other drivers. B, always slam your foot hard down on the gas and try to get to your destination as quickly as possible to avoid causing traffic digestion and mild headaches. congestion, not digestion. Danny, this isn't a real question because you refer to the accelerator as the gas pedal, which is super American. No one in Britain is like, slam on the gas! It means nothing. We're like, what's gas? This car definitely doesn't run on gas. It runs on petrol. What are you talking about?
I need fuel. Go ahead, quick, get in the car.
Bearing this in mind, I have no idea how my mate Graham managed to fail his theory test 9 times, even when he was stone cold sober. Maybe Graham is a little bit of a, insert term there. Maybe he's not quite all there, your mate Graham. Sorry, Graham. Perhaps South Florida man Anthony, unpronounceable surname, was another one who needed to brush up on his highway code, as he seemed to feel that the most important road rule of all was to provide fellow feedback to fellow motorists on their driving skills. Dashcam footage taken from Anthony's car in 2016 shows him zipping through the traffic in Pomano Beach while screaming in frustration at everybody else on the road. Anthony, why do you have a dashcam? Those things are for people who drive well and want to show the insurance company, not for people when it's like, yeah, you had a crash and they take you to court and they're like, well, it turns out you're an absolute f***ing idiot on the road. And also you have a dash cam. Just turn it off if you're going to drive like a moron.
I can't see! Who turned down the lights? What the fuck? It's Armageddon!
Anthony couldn't seem to understand why drivers around him appeared to be slowing down and pulling over to the roadside. And over the course of 4 minutes, his typical response to this was to hurl abuse at them and scream, "Get the fuck out of the way, you fucking dumbass!" Sorry, I should do that in American. "Get the fuck out of the way, you fucking dumbass!" But there was a good reason why the other drivers were pulling over, and we can see this for ourselves in the dashcam footage. Yet even as the ominous funnel clouds begin to start looking a little angry, and even as Anthony's car begins to rock slightly as it gets pelted with flying debris, Anthony is oblivious to the danger and continues to furiously beep his horn and vent his frustration at anyone in his path. I hope he gets sucked up into that tornado in his little angry car.
Okay, people, what the fuck? You're all fucking... Oh, shit, dude. Oh, shit, I'm gonna fucking hurricane, dude. Get the fuck out of here, dumbasses.
This particular tornado went on to uproot trees and knock out power lines, but fortunately, Anthony wasn't hurt. Fortunately, Danny? I mean, just a little bit of hurt. Maybe he could have just got knocked around a little inside his car and ended up being fine, just a little bit worse for wear. That would have been okay. We can wish a little bit of pain on him. In fact, he was the one who posted the dashcam footage to Facebook and briefly reveled in the subsequent fame as he was interviewed for local news channels. That's infamy, my friends. Infamy! In his defense, he claims that although the looming tornado was clearly and almost comically visible on the high-resolution dashcam footage, it was dark at the time, and he was trying to keep his eyes on the road. In fairness, keeping your eyes on the road instead of staring up at the stars is one of the first general rules of the highway code, just slightly below the bit about whipping out your telescope at the pedestrian crossing. Bada boom boom! And now, on that note, a commercial break.
Commercial break.
Hello there, yes, I'm still here just to give a quick plug to something new that I'm working on called Into the Shadows. It's a brand new channel from me, and if the name doesn't give it away, it's very much focused on the darker side of things. Early episodes have covered things such as how we fight the world's deadliest disease, how the Congo suffered the worst of colonialism, and how the Nazis escaped Europe to South America. So if you'd like to explore the darker side of history and science and humanity, please check out Into the Shadows. There is a link below.
Asking my audience for money feels weird. How do I get past this? This is a great question, as it can definitely feel awkward. But remember, viewers are buying things from you, like Super Chat to highlight their message to you.
Hey, don't forget, I got a new PayPal link down in the description, and you can hit me up with a Super Chat if you want. Or better yet, those little thumbs down below. Make your opinion count and help out the channel. Pick one and smash it.
Welcome back from that jarring commercial break. I hope you loved it. I have no idea who the sponsor was, but I'm sure they're fantastic. Make sure you purchase that stuff, or use that service, or I don't know what the sponsor was. Let's move on. Florida man insists... I just read it ahead. Syringes pulled from his arse aren't his. I don't know how those got there, officer. Oh my god. Also, I feel like if you had the syringes in your ass, I guess you got arrested and they found them, right? Because if you go to the doctor and it's like, look, I've got syringes in my ass. I don't know how they got there, but can you remove them?
What?
That's not going to be public knowledge because there'll be like doctor-patient confidentiality. Or do the doctors like anonymously post about this on Facebook? And then it's just like generic man, like Mr. B. There are times in life when you're caught red-handed and the only thing left to do is stick those red hands right up in the air and admit that it's fair cop governor. Continuing to plead your innocence is only going to make you look even more silly. A good example of this might be during one of those strip searches in jail when you casually pluck out 3 massive syringes from your rectum. How massive can syringes get, Danny? Oh god. This is what happened to Wesley Dasher Scott from Clearwater in 2019 and had only just arrived at the joint, so perhaps hadn't quite got his head around all the stifling rules and regulations just yet. Also, why are you putting a whole syringe up your butt? I feel like syringes are something that people get their hands on. Don't they normally put drugs up their butt because that's the actually illegal part of smuggling? But I guess if you're going to prison, you're going to need a syringe. They're not going to be like, yeah. We're going to give you syringes. Which would probably be smart, actually, because look, there's going to be drugs in prison, aren't there? And if we had syringes, then there'd be less diseases spread by syringes. Makes sense. Makes sense. At least we're solving all of the world's issues on this new news show. Bada-boom-boom! Wesley had been arrested before several times on drug and battery charges, and on this occasion he'd been arrested on an outstanding warrant for a marijuana charge earlier in the year. I can't believe we're still arresting people for marijuana. I mean, we, America. Everywhere else, it's like, oh, it's okay, just that's fine. And America, you're like leading the path in legalization. It's like 20 years ago, I don't know, when was like, just say no to drugs.
Hey, Lindsay? I wish you didn't smoke weed. You're not the same when you smoke. And I miss my friend. I'll be outside.
Like, a while ago it's like 3 strikes and it's jail forever. And now they're like, cool man, get on that pot train, brah. Ah. After he was taken to a receiving area of Pinellas County Jail, he was strip searched by the officers, and this is when he performed his curious variation on the vintage magician's rabbit from a hat trick. Yeah, the kids are going to be less impressed by that. Look at this rabbit from my hat, and by rabbit, I mean syringes, and by hat, I mean f***ing arse.
Those are illegal.
You're not just going to get arrested, you're going to get put on that sex offenders register. He possibly just didn't have enough time or remaining brain cells to process exactly how he was going to play this one. I would imagine that most of us would concede defeat and just declare, yes, I've pulled these syringes from my own rectum, and I accept the consequences. I'll be like, just like, lawyer, just wait and see what your lawyer. And if the lawyer's like, yeah, look, you have to admit to it, they were right there, you'll be like, okay, yeah, they came from my butt. But I'll be like, until I get a lawyer, I'm not saying they came from my butt. Smart. Big brain.
All I'm doing now is thinking of the game.
Or maybe some of us might have given a cheeky wink and declared, I was wondering where those had got to. I definitely don't remember putting them there. Where was the last place he left them? Ah, yes, of course, in my bottom. Wesley decided to try and cover his own ass by just wheeling out the Shaggy defense.
It wasn't me.
The Shaggy defense is a real legal thing. Look it up on Wikipedia.
It wasn't me.
He claims, I'm not joking, he claimed that he wasn't entirely sure how exactly the syringes had got up there, but they certainly did not belong to him.
That's not mine.
The authorities weren't really buying into this defense, and Wesley was given an additional charge of felony possession of contraband at a county detention facility, along with the original charges of drug possession and intent to sell. Dude, no one's buying, mate. It'd be like, yeah, no, can you imagine? Yeah, I love heroin. Really super into heroin, and I haven't had heroin for a while. I really need it. And then the guy will be like, what? Okay. Woo! Yeah, no thanks. I don't like heroin that much.
Thank you so much for wasting my motherfucking time.
I initially thought that the additional charge might be considered a little unfair on Wesley. After all, the guy had only just arrived in jail, and it wasn't as though it was his personal choice. A bit like a bouncer dragging a homeless man into a nightclub and then complaining that he is violating the dress code. However, Wesley was apparently asked during his arrest if he had anything illegal on his person and was warned that he would face additional charges if he was later found out to have brought that contraband into prison.
I'm telling you, baby, that's not mine.
I don't know if I'd have made a different choice for old Wezzers right there. I'd be like, look, okay, I know there's needles in my butt. If they find them, I'm in trouble. If I tell them about them, I'm in trouble. If I don't tell them about them, maybe they won't notice. And maybe I'll just quickly poo them out later. It's a tricky decision there, Wezzers, isn't it? It didn't really matter either way, as the prosecutors eventually decided that they couldn't be asked to pursue the hidden contraband charge. Maybe they thought Wesley's defense was just too strong. Wesley agreed to the plea deal on the other drug charges and served 40 days in prison. Very shortly after his release, he was back again after being arrested for allegedly stealing goods from his local Walmart with a total value of just over $56. Oh my god, if you're going to steal properly. Find out what that limit is. There's usually a limit, where it becomes a more serious crime. Find out what that limit is and steal goods just below that limit. I'm fairly sure $56 is way below that limit. Just find out you do it properly, Wesley. Come on. I'm not giving advice to criminals. I do that on my podcast, The Casual Criminalist, which you can absolutely check out after you finish watching this show. That might not seem like a particularly big haul, but if only the arresting officers had known exactly where to look, they might have just found a space hopper, a home theater projector, a folding electric treadmill, and a portable camping stove. Those camping stoves. I know having a projector shoved up your butt is going to hurt more than a camping stove, but that's got some really sharp edges. Uncomfortable. And now, on that note, yes, thank you so much, Danny. This has been an experimental episode of World News Wednesday. Sans lengthy introduction with weird commercial break and with a tie. Hell yes! If you like it, smash the like button. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I will see you next time. Good night. I like a newscaster.